Hello, everyone. Welcome to Why Your Message Isn't Landing on LinkedIn and How to Fix It. I am Deborah Brown-Volkman. I'm here at Wendy Shore, entrepreneur. She's probably one of my most favorite people in the whole wide world. So, Wendy, I'm so excited we're doing this today.
Me too.
Yay, I'm so excited. So I'm just going to introduce myself. My name is Deborah Brown-Volkman. I am a certified career and executive coach. I'm a career reinvention expert, and I'm a career goals advisor to Fortune 500 executives. My superpower here on LinkedIn is helping you get noticed from recruiters and hiring managers. It's a brutal, competitive job market. Every time I do one of these lives, I say the same thing. I'm hoping at a certain point I don't have to say that anymore, but it is. So my goal is to help you really shine. I want job opportunities to come to you.
So Chris Berryman is saying, is there a link to join you both? Can you drop the LinkedIn link? I'm looking for it right here. I thought.
All right. So can he not see us?
I'm not sure. Chris, can you? Do you need the link on LinkedIn? We could just put it in this chat anyway.
All right. Let me see. I'm looking at the LinkedIn page. Yeah, perfect. I see you. If I look on LinkedIn.
Oh, a link to join. I think he meant live, like join live.
Oh, no. We're on StreamYard.
Chris. No.
No. We're on StreamYard.
Yes. If you have any questions, though, please put it in the chat, and Deborah is going to be monitoring it.
Yes.
Hi, Ladaza. Please, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Good morning. And
Good morning.
Hi, Kimberly.
Oh, yes. Kimberly sees us. I love that.
Yes.
All right. So Wendy, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. For those of you I haven't met before, my name is Wendy Shore. I am a LinkedIn strategist, business growth advisor, and I help ambitious entrepreneurs, mostly solopreneurs, to grow their business using the right strategy, finding their niche, getting real clear on their offer, and picking the one thing that's going to propel them to success. Of course, we can add on more later, but you know what? You got to start with the one. And
yes, let's start at the beginning.
You got to start right as a multi-potentialite myself. I started as a coach and consultant, really more of a consultant than a coach. I don't stand on the sidelines. I'm in there. I'm in the game with you. So I consider myself a consultant, and I try to do everything for everybody and be everything to everybody. And even though I have 25 years of experience, I realized that I had to figure out the one thing that I can help people with the most. Right. And so that's what I did. And now I help people do the same thing.
I love it. I'm so excited about today. So excited. So the premise of today is, why isn't your message working on LinkedIn and how to fix it? And do you feel like when you're talking, nobody is listening? And if you are tired of feeling invisible on LinkedIn, and I have felt that way, I know Wendy has felt that way, whether it's in your job search or your business, this live session, we put this together so we can give you some clarity. We can give you some strategies to break through the noise. And you can. It takes work, it takes effort, it takes strategy, but it is absolutely worthwhile. I love LinkedIn. I know Wendy loves LinkedIn. It's one of our favorite places to be. So, Wendy, what do you think is the number one reason why someone's message isn't landing on LinkedIn?
Why it's not landing? Well, the first thing I want to say before I answer that question is, especially for people who are just getting started, there seems to be a slower reach. Meaning, if you started on LinkedIn in 20, 21, and 22, sure, you could shoot up like a rocket ship. Now it's much more, it's a slower grow. It's a slower burn. So the first thing you have to realize is that. And the second thing you have to realize is that even if people aren't commenting on your posts, they're still watching. Right? We call them like the lurkers. So even if they're not commenting, they may be looking. And how I know this is I've had conversations with people who are interested in what I do and working with me, who have never commented on any one of my posts. Right? But they're there and they're looking. Sometimes they can't because they want to, in my situation, leave corporate, or in your situation, Deborah, maybe they want to leave a job where they're at and they don't want people to know. The other thing is they feel uncomfortable. But going back to your question, I think a lot of times messaging doesn't land specifically for the reason that I had to figure out how to grow my business, which is we try and talk about too many things, right? And so when you're not hitting your target audience with what you're speaking about, they stop listening. And if you change the subject and talk about something else, the people who were listening, they stop listening because it has nothing to do with them. And so you're losing people all along because people pay attention to things that benefit them.
Yes. I would say it's lack of clarity. Like you don't know who you are and you don't have purpose. But I think that there's something even deeper than that, is that many people post because they feel like it's the right thing to do. Like there's a lot of people that say, do this on LinkedIn and it's a quick fix and you can get all these results quickly. There is no results quickly. There's no results quickly for anything. And I think that's okay, because there's a process and a journey that you go through. Like even for a job search, if someone said to you, I'll get you a job in 30 days, I would run as fast as I can. So, we are an instant gratification society, and LinkedIn and a job search is not an instant gratification activity. So I think people give up too quickly, and that if they could continue and go and post, like you get stronger as you go on. Not everybody has clarity in the beginning, but clarity sometimes happens during your journey. It happens over time. Purpose evolves over time. So you just keep going. And I think that if your message isn't working, you could tell it's not working, because even though we don't want to do it for the comments and the likes, like we can tell from the impressions, it gives you an opportunity to look at different things or test different things. This moment is just this moment, and you don't have to stay in this moment. You want to keep going towards other moments.
Right. I just want to comment. Meryl Cass said, yes, the lurkers, one of Melanie's
yes.
subjects. And Duran says, hello. Hi, ladies. And Kimberly said, yeah, right. People pay attention to things that benefit them. Right.
Yes.
It's kind of, we joke around a little bit. We say people don't care who you are. Right. And they don't until they know how you can help them. Right. And so lack of clarity is the perfect answer. Right. Lack of clarity. Lack of consistency, right, Deborah? We see people that get on and they come on, and it's like going to the gym, right? They go all in one whole week, right? And they're sore and they hurt, and then they never go back. Well,
that's right.
If you go once a week for 7 weeks, you're going to get much more benefit than going, for 7 days and then nothing again for the rest of the year. So consistency, whatever consistency means for you. I'm sorry, it sounds like they're starting to come in here. I am at an event, and I was so excited for this LinkedIn live that we are doing, Deborah, that I'm going to try and find a quieter location.
Yeah, well, are you speaking? You're speaking at this event, right?
I am speaking at this event today, yes.
Yes.
But I still wanted to make sure that I was here for us, because we planned this for a while, and I think it's such an important conversation, right? That we have, that people want to know why their message isn't landing. Should they stick with LinkedIn? And you and I are huge fans on LinkedIn, and we know that it takes time, it takes effort, it takes, stick to itness. Right?
Yes. Yep. That's right. All right. So I did get a few questions before this. So a question I got is, what is a common mistake you see people make when they try to show up as thought leaders on LinkedIn? And my answer is, I think posts are too long. I almost feel like there was somebody out there that said, here's the perfect post. Like, this is how you're supposed to post. You're supposed to have this, supposed to have very long, a lot of verbiage, and then a call to action. How do you feel about this? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think it's too long. And I think when people are scrolling, like, we're up against the finger. We're up against the finger, and the finger goes like this. And if a video is too long or a message is too long, then the finger just scrolls, and you're lost, and you lost the person. I think it's better to have something shorter. I think it's better to have something to the point. And I know that I do some posts, some longer posts, but I have a lot of white space. I have a lot of emojis. You have to realize that people are going like this, going like this. I think you have to write for that. And if you have a long post, well, maybe you can break it up. Maybe you could break it up into 2 posts or 3 posts. So many times on LinkedIn, from a messaging standpoint, people are looking for, what do I say? So if you have something longer, why not break it up, put it into smaller pieces, and then this way you have content that you can use over time.
Right. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, people's attention spans are limited. I don't use a lot of emojis, but I use a lot of white space. And I remember when I first started doing that, I kind of got this isn't proper like grammar, spaces in between sentences, even because I wanted to make a point with this sentence and then I wanted to make a point with the rest of the sentence. And now it seems to be a thing because people are realizing, you know what, you need to be able to read in short chunks. Right. So even a slightly longer post broken into short chunks of reading lands better. Right. If you took something and you squinched it all together and you didn't know where one sentence ended and the other one began, you wouldn't even bother to look at it. Right. Because your brain's already going like, this is too much work for me. Right. But when you chunk it up and break it up into multiple posts, especially if there's different topics or subtopics within the post.
Yeah.
Then you have 3 posts that you can use the same, what would have been one original post.
Yes, yeah, break it up over time so you can have different pictures. Maybe you could do a video. You could do something with it. So and I know that people put their heart and soul into post, because I know that I put my heart and soul into post. So try something. Try to make something a little longer. Try to make something a little bit shorter. Have some emojis. Change up the words, and you can reuse your content. So if you post something, it doesn't mean that you can never use it again. You might take a look and say, well, that hook didn't work, or the bullet points weren't strong enough, or maybe the call to action wasn't strong enough. You could repurpose it and put it with a different picture, and you can use it at another time.
That's where looking at the data really comes in, right? You see, okay, what format is working best for me? Like, I know video hit for you, and you were doing video before video became the thing, right? Like, you have been doing video for a very long time. Video was your thing. People resonated with you, right? I always want to do video, and I always feel like I'm not camera ready, and then I don't. And then I go, that's silly, because, but this is how we think. And this is why so many people are just like, don't step into video, right? But it is a great way to connect with people. Carousels, right? Stagnant posts, no text, text only, not no text, text only. And then, which ones work best for you, right? Because what works for Deborah may not work for Wendy. What works for Wendy may not work for Chris. What works for Chris may not work for Meryl, et cetera, right? No, LinkedIn user, I don't know who it is, but LinkedIn is not the same when it first, well, it's certainly not the same when it first started. It's so much better than when it first started. But it's not even the same as when I first started, because reach is down.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that LinkedIn, if we listen to Kevin Turner, right? LinkedIn has been profitable since day one. And we should listen to him because he knows. He does deep dives on everything LinkedIn related. LinkedIn does things so that they make money and they keep you on the platform, right? Kim, I love you.
Oh, that was nice. Yes.
Right. I got to get filters and all that. No, that's what I was hoping that LinkedIn would put in, like the Instagram filters. Right. No. Okay. So, I mean, LinkedIn's ever changing, and we have to stay on top of, what we're doing. But as I'm saying all this, what's really striking me the most is we just have to stay true to ourselves, no matter what it is we're doing. Right? Somebody once said to me a really long time ago, there's 2 types of people in this world: your people and not your people. Your people will find you, and not your people, they're not your people. Right? And so I love that. They're either your people or they're not your people.
Yes, and that's okay, right? And that's okay.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, but that's what I'm saying. You want people to resonate with you as you, not some, made up version of you. And not only that, but that's not even sustainable, right? You can't be not you forever. And, we just show up, right, Chris? Just show up. And then, we do these in real life meetups. And when you meet somebody, you want them to be the same that you met on social, right? You want them to have the same energy. You want them to be able to talk about the subject that they talk about, right? You meet somebody and they don't really know their subject because they're using AI to create it. And then you're like, okay, not at all the person who I thought this was. It's disappointing. So show up as you.
Yes, I like that. I like that. So I want to go back to what you said, something about, the content, and we are talking about breaking it up into pieces. I find that it's not really the content. Like anybody who posts on LinkedIn I'm going to say that you are an expert in what you're doing, or at least you know what you're doing. You've been doing it for a long time. So a lot of times it's not the actual content itself. If you're giving somebody the three ways to do something or the 4 ways to do something, you know how to do this. So it's not really about that. It's about how the content is presented. Do you have a good hook? Do you have white space? Do you have a good call to action? How are you presenting the material? And what's the image and what's the video? What's backing it up? Are you going to capture someone's attention? So I think to work on messaging, yes, there's a flow, but there's also how is the information being presented? So that's one piece I want to say. And I also want to say about having to be yourself. If you're putting yourself out there, you want people to meet the real you. If you're a job seeker and they see you on video, they get to see you and they get to see your personality. They get to see your posts. When you walk into an interview, they already know who you are. You like goes with like. In coaching, we call that the law of attraction. And now that's old school. Now they call it your tribe, but you put yourself out there. And you yourself and your people follow you. And for me and Wendy, the people that follow us are the people that we are supposed to help. So that's why we need to be ourselves. I think it's such a good point, Wendy.
And I want to gently disagree with you about one thing, though. There are so many people who are not industry experts showing up here.
True.
And that's because of AI. And, we can have an entire conversation about this. But what I want to say to people who might be listening to this is AI is a great tool, and you should definitely use AI. Use it to ideate, use it to come up with ideas. If you're trying to say something and it's not coming out exactly the way you want, use it to help you with that, like you would Grammarly, but it's okay. You can use ChatGPT, Claude, any of these. But don't use it to write for you. 1, it's not a content creator. And 2, if you're writing things that you don't know about, you run the risk of saying something that's not true or wrong, and you lose credibility right away. So write what you know about, because not only that, but if you're going to, for example, I talk to business owners, you talk to job seekers, I talk to business owners. If you're starting a business that's going to do X, Y, and Z, you should know X, Y, and Z backwards and forwards, right? It's ZYX, it's XYZ. I could put the X in the middle, like whatever it is, you should know it so that you can really help somebody with it, right? Don't profess to know the whole alphabet backwards if you can only get halfway through it, right? ZYX, WVU, TSR, I don't know. Right? So talk about what you know about, and to be a business owner and to be an expert, you only have to know more than the person you're helping. True. So if the knowledge on a subject is 1 to 10 and you're a 4, you can help people from 3 to 1, but don't profess to know 8 when you know 4. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does. I really like that. Sarah said AI is incredible. I use it all day, every day. I like AI too. How I look at AI is it isn't us versus them. I look at AI as harmony, where we are working together. And the premise of this live is how to fix a message, that's not working. And I think that if you're using AI only, I don't think it'll work. I think people can tell. AI has these black check marks. They have certain ways of writing things. You can tell if AI wrote your post. You may agree with me or not, but you can tell. I think that you can use it to generate ideas. I think you can use it to take your ideas and make them even stronger. But just to do something on AI and put it out, I think you might as well not do it, because they know that you didn't write it. And they know you didn't put the effort into it, and it actually makes you look bad. I actually think it makes you look worse.
I agreed. I use AI. As a matter of fact, the presentation I'm doing here today is how to use AI to streamline your workday, right? And it's at the Women's Executive Club. We have business owners and we have people who are in corporate, right? But it doesn't matter whether you're in a job or you are a business owner. AI can be almost like a manager for you. It can help you. But you don't want to use it in place of, you want to use it in addition to.
Yes.
Right?
Harmony, right?
Harmony.
Yeah.
And so now let's go back to the messaging. So using AI, right? A lot of times I will write something and then I put it in AI and I ask it to give me feedback. Right? Because I kind of want to know if it's landing. And sometimes it'll say, like, this paragraph runs on a little bit. Maybe you should break it up. Like, that's kind of cool that it could do that, right? And then sometimes I take the information and I don't. But it goes to what you're saying about using like white space and whether or not you use emojis. I'll use the occasional emoji, but I'm not, I like smiley faces and like the boom.
Yeah, I like the boom. I'm always sending you smiley faces, right? I like my
Yes,
smiley
yes.
faces. Yes.
Yes. I want to say hi to some people. Sarah Martin's a very good friend of mine from locally here. Ariel, great to see you. I'll be in New York soon.
Yay.
Jay, great to see you. Thank you for joining us. And of course, we had Meryl, and there's a couple of LinkedIn users. Sometimes, and Lisa's here today too.
Okay.
When you're depending on how your profile is set, it may not be maybe semi-private, right? So we don't get to see who you are. But we're happy you're here with us.
Yay. All right.
Yes.
So, all right. So Chris has a question. So hello, everyone. I love that. All right. So Chris has a question. Do we have to be an expert, or should we know what we know? Right. You should know what you know. Expertise is a journey. Expertise is something that happens over time. Write about what you know today. And like what Wendy said is, all we have to know is a little bit more. Oh, Jay did the smiley. All we have to know is just a little bit more than the people that we want to help. But as we grow, because we're always growing, we're always doing professional development, we're working on ourselves. I mean, even this live, we're learning. We're all learning together. As you learn more, you have more to give, and more. Your expertise grows over time because you're growing over time.
One of the most beautiful things too is teaching. When you want to help somebody, when you want to teach somebody, you do some research, right? And in doing so, you actually expand your knowledge, right? So I learn more when I prepare. Even though I know my subject, I expand the knowledge when I want to do a presentation or a workshop or a webinar or something like this where we're going to help other people. If it's on a specific subject, right? Not a topic, but a specific subject, I'll research it. I'll look and I'll see and I'll make sure I know what I'm supposed to know. And I learn more in doing that than listening and just being an observer, right? So get in there and learn, and then write about what you've learned, right? I just read this most incredible thing and I wanted to share it with you. Here are the 3 takeaways from it. Boom, there's a post.
Yes. See, this is a really good topic, because a lot of times people say, "What do I write about?" That's what you write about, right? You can write about something you saw on LinkedIn. You want to comment. You could write about something that you learned. You could write about, like, people are going to see Wendy speak, right? So there might be somebody in the audience that said, "I saw this really wonderful, amazing woman that spoke. Here's what I learned. Here's what I took away." So there's so many different things that you can write about, but you just want to ask yourself, what do I want to give back? What do I want to teach? We're just the messengers. Our goal is to get it out there and to help the people that we're supposed to help and make a difference. So don't stop yourself when it comes to messaging. If something comes to you and you want to use AI to flesh it out a little bit, that's fine. But make sure the majority of it comes from you.
And you could really, I'm thinking about it, write about anything, because as people are first starting out, like even in their careers, right? When people are first starting out, they don't have that breadth of experience. But things happen. Maybe the boss yelled at them today, right? And they can talk about how it made them feel and what they would have liked to see instead, right? I got yelled at because when I was first going to, when I was an accountant and I did an internship, I had a boss that would yell at me if I didn't use a ruler to do an underline. Obviously, this is way before like Excel was like the thing. I used Lotus. It took us like 9 cartridges to load it up into the computer. It was the little square
You're
cartridges.
going back old school, right? Yeah.
But he wanted a ruler. If you had a line that wasn't like you the ruler, he actually yelled at you. Right. And so imagine my feeling about that when I'm starting out. Right. So anyway, like I could write about that. You can write about anything through your day, especially if you think it would help other people.
Mm-hmm.
I had a miscommunication with somebody, and I'm going to write about that, right? Like my feeling from that and my takeaway from that. And so that'll be coming soon.
Oh, good.
Sometimes, you say one thing and the person hears the other, or vice versa. And what you can do maybe to either make sure that doesn't happen again, or if, it doesn't matter. What is your take on it?
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So if you could give one final message to someone who's feeling invisible on LinkedIn, what would it be?
I think just keep showing up. Even if you help one person, then the reason that you're showing up, it's worth it. If one person reaches out to you and says, thank you, this made a difference to me, keep showing up. Because if you can help one person, you can actually help a million, because that one person can help somebody else, can help somebody else, can help somebody else, can help somebody else. And then the whole world will just be a better place.
Yes, I love that. Mine is around the same thing. Don't give up. Good things happen to people who show up over time. Earlier we spoke about video. I've been doing video on LinkedIn for many, many years. And when I first started doing it, I got 25 views, 25 views. I've had videos with over 2 million views. She's saying hi to people. I've had videos with over 2 million views, over 1 million views. I have a video that's running now that has over 4.5 million views. Right.
Wow.
And it's growing. I think in a couple of days, it'll be over 5 million views. So don't give up. Don't give up. Test the message. A lot of times, so I'll do a video, it doesn't land, I'll repurpose it. Maybe I'll edit it. I'll change the title. I'll change the hook. You work with your content. And then just keep going, because you get better at it over time. Where you are today won't be where you are tomorrow, and it won't be where you are in the future. So your goal is to just keep going. Just keep going.
And I do want to say one thing about that as well. I had one video. I don't even know where it is now, but when I stopped looking, it was at 5 million impressions, not views, impressions. I don't know how many views. Here's the thing. That felt really good, right? It was nice to see and blah, blah. But that one, and it was about International Women's Day. So my message was on brand for me. It was what I wanted to say, but it didn't necessarily lead to the business. It didn't lead to phone calls. It didn't lead to like inbound leads. It was great. And I know my message reached a lot of people. So I feel really good about that. I also got a lot of trolls and a lot of negative comments and a lot of, and so all attention is not necessarily great attention. And so just, again, if one person hears what you have to say, or if you're a business owner, you get one DM, somebody who wants to speak to you based on content you're putting out, one, that you're on the right path, and one will lead to 2, right? And 2 will lead to 5. For you, Deborah, the videos that you do are all on brand, right? So when yours go viral, you're always talking about, job growth and career
growth and
career
interviewing.
path.
And you know what? I actually do. I get a lot of people. I get a lot of DMs from that. So,
Right.
It works. All right. So I know, so we have to wrap up. So what I want to say is, And I want to say about the trolls, I love the trolls. You know why I love the trolls? Because it means you made it. It means you made it. If people are coming
Yes,
after you,
that's right.
it means you made an impact. So you can troll me all you want, because
You
that means,
you haven't made it until you get troll
yeah,
comments.
you troll me all
Absolutely.
you want. That means that I made it and I made it through. So go for it. All
Yep.
right. All right. So I want to thank everybody for whether you are here live or you're listening to the replay, why your message isn't landing on LinkedIn and how to fix it. It's Deborah and Wendy, and we both thank you very much for attending today.
Thank you all for being with us today. This was wonderful. And I'm sorry the background's loud, but I just wanted to be here. I love showing up here with Deborah, and we'll do this again.
All right. Sounds good. All right.
You
Take
haven't
care,
heard the
everyone.
last of us. Thanks, Deb.